Join former FBI senior forensic examiners Becky Passmore and Stacey Eldridge as they dig into the world of digital forensics, one bite at a time. Now leading their own consulting firms and educating the next generation of cyber sleuths, these badass babes of digital forensics bring sharp insight, real-world case experience, and a dose of humor to the bits and bytes that build today's investigations. From deep dives into business email compromise and ransomware attacks, Becky's specialty, to cracking the complexities of iPhone forensics, Stacey's obsession, this podcast delivers insider knowledge for professionals, students, and true crime techies alike. If you've ever wondered what really happens when the digital trail is all that's left, tune in and start parsing the truth.
Welcome back to Parsing the Truth, one bite at a time, where we cut through digital noise to reveal the facts. I'm your co-host, Stacey Eldridge, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Becky Passmore. And in today's episode, we're talking about emojis, AI, online safety, and privacy.
Woohoo! Hey everyone! Today we're diving into something a lot of parents do without thinking twice. And Stacey, I see this often, being in some social media sites, I see people posting photos of their kids online. And then let me just cover my child's face with this cute little heart emoji sticker.
Yep. And it's almost the default move these days, right? I'm just going to throw a heart over their face. That'll keep my kids safe. Nobody will know what they look like. In this episode, we want to get to the truth, especially with the spike in articles that came out about this topic at the beginning of the school year. So we're focusing on, will that smiley face or that emoji or that sticker, whatever you slap on your kid's picture online, is it going to keep your child's identity safe like you think it is?
Right. And this is really a great topic, something that we need to be talking about, especially with the holidays quickly approaching and coming on to us as fast as it can. So, let's start with a little bit of the psychology behind it. Most parents don't post their children online with bad intentions. That's not the reason, right? They're proud. They want to share those milestones, first day of school, sports, holidays, all the things. And so they post online with those intentions.
Yep. And covering that face, your little kid's face with that emoji, feels like a privacy solution. You can still show off the outfit, the Halloween costume, the event, whatever that cute moment is. And you think, okay, no one can see their face, so I'm good. It's what The Independent called security theater in their article about this topic. It's when you're feeling safer, but you haven't actually reduced all the risks. And you haven't actually reduced all the risks. And it has become trendy. You see more and more people doing it. You see the influencers, family bloggers, even celebrities are doing it. And maybe the celebrities kind of started it most of all, right? But there's all sorts of emojis going on the faces, hearts, flowers, and there's even pixelated filters. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the face is just one data point in that picture.
That's right. And it's not just about what's covered. It's about everything else that's still visible in that picture. So let's talk about the three main articles that really digged into this stuff. And the first one is from that Independent, like you mentioned, that was back in June of 2025. And this cybersecurity expert, Lisa Ventura, explained that covering a face with an emoji doesn't remove other identifying information. Things like the background, the school logos, the furniture, when a backyard, even like if I had a backyard fence in my backyard, all those details, that can still help piece together some information where that photo has been taken.
Yep, exactly. So even though the face is hidden, the digital breadcrumbs are still out there. Now, another article for ABC News Australia points out that these emojis can block some of the automated facial recognition systems, but they said that's only part of the problem, because what's happening is just because the algorithm can't match the face to the human, and some AIs would theoretically, and maybe some still can, recognize the person from context clues. So they're saying, I might not have your face in this picture, to reconstruct it, but I've gotten it from a different picture that's been uploaded online because Lord knows what happens as we're uploading all this stuff into AI. Who can see it? Are the AIs talking to each other on the back end, and passing all this information together? Like, how secure is any of this stuff? And it's just, as we've said before, once you post something online, it's out there forever. So there could be that. All right. There could be that. So you could be able to take your face from a different picture and reconstruct it onto another face with the help of AI. But then a news article from the Star went a step further and they warned that the new AI tools can actually remove emojis or stickers quite easily and that they can reconstruct faces. Or perhaps the worst thing is invent plausible new faces on your pictures.
Listen, I was playing with that today and I uploaded a photo to add some caption to it, and there was 5 faces in that photo that were average people, like probably in their 40s. 5 people. It added the caption I wanted it to add it to. I was just playing around with it, and it made the faces look like they were 70s and 80-year-olds. So it
Oh,
took
no.
them from being like
Oh.
40-year-olds.
That's the wrong direction.
Right. It aged them 40 years ahead. It was astonishing. I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll see how that works.
Yeah.
So, and that's what's so unsettling with this. These tools aren't hypothetical, they're already online.
Yep.
They're free or low cost. I think you and I have talked about the different versions and the free cost version versus the paid version. Not much more is shared or given out, but it's still using these platforms. And people
Yep.
use them for object removal or photo repair instead of going out there and using, like Adobe photo picture to edit it,
Right.
deciding to upload that picture to AI and have the same object removal or photo repair completed. And it's the same technology that's used to erase watermarks or remove photo bombers. And then it's also called image in painting. And we're going to break it down for you. So imagine you have a photo of your child with a big heart emoji covering their face. Yeah. And when you post it, that heart is flattened like a pancake into the image. It becomes part of those pixels. So you'd think there's no face behind it anymore, but lo and behold.
I mean, and that's true. The original pictures under the heart are gone. And we wanted to dig into this a little more with a photographer expert. So we spoke with Bonnie at Genesis Photography here in Lincoln, Nebraska, to find out, as a Photoshop expert, what could she do with these heart-covered faces. Bonnie is just a whiz when it comes to Photoshop. And I'm not just talking like, oh, she can get rid of my blemishes and my fine lines. She does these imagination scenes. So she will put her subject in just like out of these world situations, very beautiful. And it's looks all very realistic. It does not look fake at all. So she has that touch. She knows how to do all the fancy things in Photoshop to make an impossible situation look real. So first, her approach was she downloaded some random pictures from Facebook that had hearts covering the faces. And first, she tried to figure out if these pictures that she downloaded had any layers in them that could be removed. And they did not. And that was no surprise to her. And if you've not worked with Photoshop, and I know just enough to be dangerous, when you work in Photoshop, you can make your projects and then you can create all of these different layers. And so that's how you kind of work on the different things to like shadow the one thing out or dim this and brighten this. You're using all these different layers to the project. And that's saved in a proprietary Photoshop file format. But then if you wanted to give it to me or put it on the internet, that sort of thing, you've got to put it into a JPEG format so other people can open it without having Photoshop. And when you do that, you have to do it in Photoshop. It basically flattens everything down. Like Becky was saying, that heart emoji is flattened down and it's compressing everything into that JPEG format. So there's no more layers. It's compressed. And the more you save it and work with it, the more what's called noisy it gets. I'm not the photo expert, so I couldn't tell you like what photo looks more noisy, but the more times you re-say stuff and work with it in that JPEG, it does potentially lose some of that quality over the time because you're just recompressing it over and over again. So she was not surprised that there were no layers, and this is kind of sort of what I expected as well.
Yeah, and so Bonnie also said there was another great Photoshop tool called Lightroom, and that would not even open the photo saved from Facebook. Because of that, Bonnie was only able to work with the photos in Photoshop. And Photoshop made it all weird colors and lines. She then prompted the AI generative fill-in Photoshop to remove the icons and reveal their faces. And what she got was pretty spectacular.
I
As
agree.
in spectacularly awful. Stacy, why don't you show them what she was able to come up with? Because it's really kind of creepy.
Yeah. I guess it's timely with Halloween coming up
Right?
upon us. So
Yeah.
it kind of fits that. So let me get ready to screen share here. Let's see. Okay. So this is the picture that Bonnie randomly downloaded from Facebook. So it's got the kiddos with your typical heart emojis covering your face. And so we can't see their faces, but like we talked about, you can see some identifying information in here. There's some sort of name for something, kids, Dr. White official. So, I mean, there is some information in here that you could read. And this
They
name
have
back here.
medals around their neck. They have
Yep.
things on their shirts. Might be like a contest that might say something. But yeah,
Oh, there we
yeah,
go. Kids Run, DeWitt, Oliphant.
right. And so
So,
someone could just look up where that run occurred, and then you can see back there it says school Schoenberger.
Schoonebeck? I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
right.
so, I mean, this is some of the identifying information that, we are talking about, that's still in the picture. So, yes, you can't exactly see what your kiddos look like, but, like, here's this race that they just took place in. But
That's right.
let's get back to what she did next. So she opened it up in Photoshop, and this is what it looked like. See, it's all the lines, and it's got this weird purplish and green color. And so the AI tool in Photoshop is generative AI fill. And she said, remove the heart and reveal the child's face. And this is what it came up with.
So disturbing.
Super creepy. So half of the photo is still got the weird lines running through it. And that was the side with presumably a boy because of the short buzz cut. But now the boy in the AI generated photo has like longer hair and a bob and looks like he has some purple lipstick on.
That's right.
Very big lips now.
Right.
And then on the other side of the picture, there's no more pixelated lines running through it. However, this girl has bushy, crazy hair now. Before, was it in a ponytail? I already forgot.
Yeah, no, it was not. It was still a little on the bob side, but yeah, not as bad as the boys.
Not as but it did make his hair bigger, a little bit bushier. But the really creepy thing is what it did to her face. It made her look super old. It reminds me kind of a witch, but it's like doing what you said, right? It added like 40 years on
It did.
to the people in your picture. Clearly, this young girl has been aged up to, I don't know, 60, 80 years old and turned into a witch.
Right.
So that
So
was
disturbing.
definitely kind of creepy. And then she tried it again. And so in this one, the boy has his buzz cut haircut back. However, his face is really kind of no features. He's still got the lines running through him.
Almost
Right?
alien looking.
Yeah, he's got like a very pointy chin. He's got kind of a mouth. And then like these black,
dark
eyes. Dead eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, all I'm going to do this time is I'm going to give you eyeballs, nose, and a mouth, but no depth or texture or anything like that. But then on the girl, the hair is pretty much back to normal, but her face now looks like a plastic doll
Right.
face,
With
perfectly
glasses.
smooth. Yeah, I don't know why they added glasses, but she has glasses now. The eyes are a bright white, and you got like the dark black pupils in them, and then she does have a lips like I guess you would expect like when you're seeing like a doll. Like it kind of reminds me of a Barbie
Yeah.
face,
Yeah.
just with the petite nose and the petite mouth and all that sort of stuff. But it clearly looks very plasticky to me and super fake in this picture.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
I mean, obviously, this is not a good example of what Photoshop, or maybe it is a great example of what Photoshop can do, and it's not good.
Mhm.
But Photoshop is not the only tool out there. And this is probably, I mean, maybe someone who's up to no good would be using Photoshop, but maybe they're going to be using some of those other online tools out there to try to put the faces into the pictures.
Right.
So I got a celebrity picture. It's Halloween. It's
Right.
coming up. So we've got, is it Channel 7 News, Ron Burgundy and
Yes.
the anchor man. It's
Yep.
his news team is here in this picture, and so the kiddos in their costumes have pumpkins covering up their faces, and so I thought,
Yes.
okay, I'm gonna throw this into a new AI tool. What was the name of the tool I used? It was AIEs,
Okay.
because this was really the only one that I could find online that I could do for free. A lot of
Right.
them that I found, you had to buy credits and you couldn't just buy like a credit, you had to buy a pack of credits. So they're going to get your money, a lot of them. But I picked this one and I thought this one was kind of fun what it came up with. So a little bit better than what Photoshop was able to
Sure.
do with the
Yeah.
pictures, but in front of from what I've read, the and from what I've read, what AI does is it kind of takes its surroundings to fill in the gaps. And so I think you can really see that here in this picture. And I'm going to zoom in just a touch if you're
Mhm.
watching. So for the boy, and I think this one was Paul Rudd's character in the movie. I don't remember his name, but because he's next to Ron Burgundy. So now he's got a mustache and it kind of gave him some chops on the side, kind of where the pumpkin was covering his face.
Right.
I would say also, it's still got some of that orangey pumpkin on the edges. So it couldn't get rid of absolutely everything, but it makes me think, okay, yep, this person has a mustache. I'm going to give him a mustache.
Right. Right.
And then the other guy, the other kid in the blue suit over here, I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on with his eyes. I feel like
It's
they kind
almost
of
like
made him
a puppet.
a
Like they
puppet.
take like a puppet.
Yeah, yeah, because it's very um smooth, solid face. It looks like maybe he has like a little bit of a stash
Right.
going on, but he's got like a weird colored face, and then like there's some weird stuff going on. Like I was like, are they putting glasses over his face? Um,
Mhm.
but it's definitely a weird face, and I was trying to figure out, okay, whose eyeballs or face is that coming from around there? Not sure what's going on. I think it tried to put glasses on him. That's what I
Yeah.
think. I think it's a because here it looks a little reflectively, um, but then this is maybe the what do you call the the
Oh,
thing that keeps it on your ear?
your earpiece.
Yeah. The
Okay.
earpiece or whatever, the side piece of the glasses that sits on
Right.
your ear, that one side looks like it bows out a little bit. I don't know. It just looks weird. It's giving it a shot. It's certainly better than what Photoshop was coming up with because these kind of look like actual faces with some personality. But then the problem could be, people inventing faces to put on your body. So that can
Mhm.
be troublesome.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go ahead and stop screen sharing.
So yeah, and then on top of what Stacy was showing in those pictures, which obviously was very disturbing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to talk about what we see from a digital forensics perspective when we view the photos in hex.
Yes.
But first, we would use the EXIF tool to see that there is virtually no metadata left in the photo. Social media sites strip all of the data off these days. So now you should be careful where and how you share, because on Telegram, you can post a picture as a file, and then whoever downloads it will have the original photo complete with the metadata. So do you have these photos where you can show them in hex?
I could pull them up in hex. Do we want to do that? Or do we want to just show them what EXIF data produced?
Let's just see what EXIF tool produced. And are you going to pull up both of them, or are you just going to pull up the one?
I will do both of them.
Okay, cool.
So lost my mouse. Okay, so this is the first one.
Yeah, you might want to zoom in a little bit. It's fine. It's fine.
No, I will zoom in.
Okay. I'm making you view at the top.
Where?
At the top. View 3 tabs over. Let me talk to you about how to use a tool. Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, we'll get this off. There, it zoomed them both. Okay. Do you want to talk through it? So and then just tell me when you're done and we'll switch. So this is the first one that Bonnie did.
Yeah, so just the header and no JPEG with JPEG to extract, right? So we're just talking about the header information here. We could also, see that the saves, it was saved multiple times, right? So there's a lot of there's some data here. You have some file modification, access, creation. You have a zone identifier. Do you want to talk about what that means? Zone identifier means what? It was downloaded from the internet, right?
Yeah.
Some of our artifacts populate that zone identifier when it's downloaded, and this tells us, this EXIF tool tells us that zone identifier exists, which then I would go and try to find the artifact showing and proving that it was downloaded from the internet. It gives us the file permissions, looks like read write. So there's no, special permissions there. You got the file type, you've got the size of it, the image width and height of the image. You have some color components, and the resolution. So it gives us the image size, the megapixels, all the details, not a whole lot, right?
Right. There's, no identifying information in here at all. It doesn't even say that it came from Facebook, and it certainly doesn't give GPS coordinates, your camera, anything like that.
That's right.
In this photo that Bonnie got from Facebook.
Yep. And then the other photo that you downloaded, actually.
Yep, and this one was from Instagram.
Yep. And did you name it 5.jpg? Or was
I did.
It? Okay.
No, it was something else, and I renamed it.
Yep. So it shows the name you gave it, not the name that was there before. Again, zone identifier exists. It shows the file size of it. It shows the file modification, access, creation date, all done today.
Because that's when I downloaded it.
That's right. And then JPEG. It gives us a current IPTC digest. Not really sure what that is, but we could look that up in EXIF tool instructions. And then it goes on and it gives us some special instructions. Again, the image size. Not a whole lot of details.
Right. But this one has slightly more information than the Facebook one did, but not a whole lot. And again, we're still missing any sort of identifying information, GPS coordinates, things of that nature. So from a metadata perspective in terms of privacy, this is good because people are not going to get information about you from any photos that you've posted on Facebook and Instagram, things like that. So that stuff's all gonna be gone. But you could see here just from looking at this too that the quality of these pictures are not great either. These are not like printable photo quality photos either.
Yeah. So this is great. Thank you for sharing that, Stacey. Let's dive back into what some of these articles were talking about in the terms of tool.
Yep. So here's where AI changes things. With image in painting, the system analyzes all the surrounding pixels, the skin tone, the lighting, the hair, the coloring, It's predicting it's predicting what is supposed to be behind that covered area. And so it's the same process used in restoration tools or apps that say remove unwanted objects. So what you would do with the tool, you highlight the sticker and then AI fills it in. And sometimes it's shockingly accurate, or sometimes it's complete creepy garbage.
Right.
But tools like Art Smart, Real Mine, and even some Photoshop plugins can make a reconstructed face that looks 90% believable. And other times it's a complete flop, as we've shown you today. And I'm sure, like the Photoshop pros, if they have, because they do things like how you have like a big group of people in the picture, you're trying to get 20 people to look and smile and all at the same time. And then, like, you finally got the shot, except for one kid. So they do the thing where they take, like, the head from the other photo and put it onto this photo. So I'm sure there's some way to do that much easier with Photoshop and AI and those sorts of things. But remember, we're talking about like strangers on the internet downloading stuff. And so maybe they have been stalking you and your family for a while and they've just been collecting pictures over time.
Yep, that's exactly right. And that's what the Star, another publication, was warning about. Even if it's not your child's actual face, the AI can create one that looks realistic enough to misuse it for fake profiles or even worse, right? So
Yeah.
that cute heart might hide a real face from your Instagram followers, but it doesn't stop someone with malicious intent or a little technical skill from generating one.
Right.
And even if the face can't be restored, there's still all that contextual information in the background. The same bedroom, the same vacation spot. Those things can easily be tied back to that same child. And it's just from running searches on the internet. A lot of us, I will see something really cute, like a purse or a pair of shoes or something like that. And I'm like, I wonder where I could buy that. So I'll take a photo of it, then I'll throw it into Google Lens and
Yep.
I'll tell it to give me the details. Well,
Yep.
people can do the same thing. Give me any details about this picture. And quite honestly, they
Like,
might
where is
find
this?
correct. Yes. So might find some more details just by running it through a Google Lens, by taking a picture, or again through AI.
Yep. So let's continue to talk about some digital footprints. Every time you post a picture, even with a sticker, you're leaving little clues. Think about captions like first day of third grade or off to soccer at Lincoln Park. And then when you combine that information with timestamps, suddenly someone is going to be able to track your child's routine. And it's not just strangers. There's all sorts of people or companies in the background doing stuff. There's data brokers, facial recognition systems, and even platforms themselves where you are posting your pictures that can use this information to build profiles, especially if you are posting these things publicly.
Yeah, the ABC News article even mentions that posting repeatedly over time creates a pattern. And quite honestly, that's what a lot of predators or people that are stalking are looking for, is patterns. Even if the faces aren't always hidden. AI doesn't need one clear photo. It learns from repetition. And when you post on social media, you also give the platform rights to your content. Many platforms' terms of service say they can use, reproduce, or distribute images for their purposes. Once it's up, it's out of your control. That's something most parents forget about. Even if you delete the post later, it might already be archived, scraped, or shared with anyone.
Right, exactly. And remember, all these companies are doing backups of their stuff because, God
Right.
forbid, Facebook go down. What would we do? So there's got to be backups. So they could restore should the worst happen and all of that sort of stuff. So there's definitely multiple copies and there's stuff being replicated across different servers for the purposes of speed. So it's not like you just put one picture and there's one picture sitting in one server in one place.
That's right.
Meta headquarters. Who
No,
knows if it's even physically at Meta headquarters because I'm pretty sure it's not.
no, they don't back their data up at Meta headquarters, do they? It's an offsite.
Of course. Let's bring in some real world examples. I had read about a case where parents had posted a family beach photo and the faces were covered with sunglasses emojis. But in another picture that was posted in the same series, there was a reflection in the sunglasses, and that other person revealed the child's face in their sunglasses. So the children weren't in the picture anymore. They had these emojis, but then this other person, how reflective your sunglasses are, you could see the children's face in those sunglass reflections. And this is classic digital forensics material and investigative material, even if you're just looking at regular photos and you're not doing it from a digital forensic perspective. But we use this all the time. We see it all the time. Investigators are looking for reflections, whether it's in windows, mirrors, metal surfaces. That's why investigators love analyzing photo metadata. That's one place to get us started. And then the reflections to give us more details. You can often reconstruct a scene even when the main subject is blurred or covered. Now, this takes me back to a big terrorism case that I worked in the FBI. And this person was making videos telling people how to turn a remote control car into a bomb. And so the idea being that you would drive the remote control car bomb into wherever and then set the bomb off. And so this person thought they were being pretty clever, right? Because they're recording from like neck down, shoulders down. So their face is not in it. It's fairly well zoomed in. So, I mean, there's not a ton of stuff in the background. It's focused on his core body because he's there working with the toy car and how to turn it into an explosive device. However, on his table was one of those glass tabletops.
Wow.
And so his face was in the reflection. And so we took a bunch of shots of the frames and then they went through and did somebody else did the analysis magic to make it a great image that could tie a person to the reflection to producing that video.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. So let's move from scary to practical. What can parents actually do to protect their kids' privacy? We've got a short checklist based on expert recommendations. Number one, post less often. Think twice before hitting that upload. Does
Yep.
this really need to be online or can it stay in a family chat? And number two, avoid identifiers. That means no visible school logos, no street names, no unique landmarks in the background. Anything that can pinpoint the location of where these pictures are being taken should not be included in the photo.
Yep. It's hard, but you can try to crop in as close as possible,
Sure.
and that'll help reduce your risk.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 3, skip the location tags in your social media. So turn off geoposting or turn off geotagging when you're doing posting. It's fun to share like at the park, but it's better to do it after you've left. Number 4, keep it private. Use family-only sharing tools like shared albums. You can make folders in the cloud, different services, or just use private messaging apps.
That's right.
Number 5, ask relatives to not repost or to post original pictures. A lot of grandparents love sharing photos, but they might not realize that the privacy settings are wide open. So it's best to have a discussion about that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And number 6, don't rely on emojis or filters for security. If you want to anonymize a photo, use a full blur or a crop instead of a decorative sticker. Yeah, a heart is cute, but a crop is safer. You can still share a hand holding a trophy or a photo from behind without showing the face or location. And for parents who really want to post, think about the future embarrassment test. Ask yourself, will my child thank me for sharing this when they're 16? If not, maybe skip it.
Problem is, I don't think your child will thank you for anything when they're 16.
Nope, don't think so. Don't think so at all.
But one of the other things, we said, keep it to like the family chats, the family channels, things like that. But if you are on social media, certainly one of the things that can reduce your risk is actually knowing the people you are friends with or you allow to follow you on the different social media services. So, for instance, if you don't know who a person is and you want to post lots of pictures of your kids on Facebook, then perhaps don't accept that friend request.
Yeah.
And maybe that means you go through and go back through your lists and see who am I friends with if you want to keep sharing on Facebook. But I think
Clean
we've
it up.
given you some ideas of some other places to share some of this information with your friends and family that's not quite so public. And
Right.
I will say I used to post a lot more on Facebook, and then I kind of switched to Instagram for a while because I had very few people on Instagram, but I'm old, so I'm just not really like an Instagram person. Facebook's my jam.
Mine
But
too.
now I don't really post as much on Facebook
Me
because
neither.
I don't know. I'm busy, but like I really enjoyed looking through my memories on Facebook. So that was kind of like why I was like, oh, I got to keep posting some things because I want to see the memories. But Google Photos has a memory option.
Yeah.
So when I go into Google Photos, it'll be like, oh, recent memories, 1 year ago today, and stuff like that. So I'm still getting the same effect without sharing everything on Facebook. And I certainly did go on Facebook, and I've always been pretty strict about like who is going to be my friend on Facebook. It does need to be somebody I know sort of situation. And then for a while, because, I was trying to grow a business, I had all these people I was networking with, and everybody wanted to be your friend on Facebook. And then so I was trying to manage it by being like, giving them the different groups that they could be in on my profile. So then I could switch the privacy and say who the different people were and that sort of situation. And I was like, this is just too complicated. I either know you and you're my friend,
That's right.
or you're not. And so you're not going to
That's
be
right.
on my Facebook sort of situation. So that's something everybody struggles with. But, we're here to just give you some tips. So hopefully, if you've seen some of those headlines like emojis will not save your children, or the emojis can be removed and everyone will see who your child is and what they look like. Well, it's a lot of scary headlines to get you to click and to read. Right now, Photoshop, I don't think can reliably fill in anything emoji wise, but we did see some. It's a little funny, but I mean, a realistic attempt at filling in a face that had emojis on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All good tips, all good recommendations. We're trying to bring you the truth. That's what we talk about all the time, trying to bring you the truth. We've seen it from experience working in our field that people can be tracked by social media posts, social media pictures. So that's why we're here. And, we just want to share this very interesting information that we discovered over the last couple weeks in communicating with Bonnie, and then me just playing around with it today, not realizing it was going to add 40 years to a picture. Anyway, and maybe most importantly, every post contributes to your child's story online. So let's make sure it's one that they get to tell someday. So until next time, stay safe, stay sharp, and as always, keep parsing the truth one bite at a time.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow us to get notified the next time a new episode drops. If you can do more, head on over to parsingthetruth.com and donate by clicking on the donate button. Parsing the Truth is a nonprofit organization, and we are raising money to send a new digital forensic examiner to IASIS training next year in Orlando. Thanks.